Sergeant Speeder here again to present you with another moving picture combat tactics guide, and in today's presentation I'll be attempting to familiarise you sorry lot with the Sinai Desert Area of Operations. I know you layabouts couldn't find your arses with both hands, but trust me when I say that if you pay attention, you will at least have a chance of staying alive for more than a few minutes in your first Conquest type engagement. And if you've got more than a couple of brain cells to rub together, you might even capture the odd flag or two. Myself and Corporal Carruthers, my cameraman, decided to film during a particularly lively battle with the enemy, so I procured a light tank to make sure we could complete the task and visit all the flags on the Sinai Desert map. Unfortunately, while shooting some B footage of yours truly, Carruthers took a rather nasty kick to the temple from a bad-natured horse, which I was attempting to mount, and he is currently pushing up the desert daisies in the battalion graveyard, so I will be requiring a volunteer to take his place by the end of the day. We will be starting off at the western end of the area of operations, heading towards the George flag. Then we'll head on to Freddy, then Charlie, Duff, Buster and Edward. We'll finish off at Apples, where by then I was on horseback after a rather unfortunate incident with Corporal Carruthers that I mentioned earlier. Now this is the George flag at the western end of the Sinai map. If you're on foot, make sure you take cover in the trenches as you're capturing the flag. There's some nice little hidey holes by the field guns, but be very wary of the long lines of sight from the cliff to the east, north and south, and from any enemies approaching from the west. Try and to make the most of available armour or horses to get this flag quick, and move on before you're spotted if you can. But if you are making a stand at George, remember to place yourself away from the flag, perhaps along the cliffs, so you can engage enemies as they approach the flag without them running into you. This, my boys and khaki, is the approach to the Freddy flag, a dangerous place for all but the most stealthy of infantrymen when you're attempting a capture. Watch out for the snipers on the sides of the gorge. Don't just be looking down at your clodhoppers, and keep an eye out for enemies pushing out from the village. Keep close to the sides of the cliffs and use the covered area to hide in while you are capturing the flag. Even when capturing Freddy in armour, be aware of troops dropping anti-tank grenades from above, and if you're defending, always use the height of the cliff to your advantage. But be aware of enemies sneaking up behind you while you're peering down towards the flag. Charles flag is located at the back of the village, and a capture here is not for the faint of heart. Multiple enemy snipers could be hiding on any of the surrounding roofs or scoping you through the windows of the buildings. If you are on foot, make use of the lower area to the rear of the flag to reduce line of sight, or follow my advice and grab some armour and dominate the area with an armoured car or tank. When defending Charles, pick a building with a good view of the flag and look through the windows or get up onto the roofs, but don't make yourself too obvious or you'll end up an easy target for enemy counter snipers. Duff flag by the train station is always a hotbed of activity in any engagement. There's a very handy anti-aircraft gun on the desert side and plenty of undulating sand dunes for the competent infantrymen to take cover behind while capturing the flag. Or alternatively, take cover under or near the train carriages or in the station buildings. Although we may be a long way from the land arch towards George, enemy snipers will attempt to get kills from there towards Duff, so watch your sides of sight. A favourite position of mine is to hug the dirt at the back of the Duff, sniping any runners from the Butter flag, Apple flag or enemies coming from the village towards Duff. This can work really well with a good LMG, just remember to move after a couple of kills and lock down those lines of sight. Butter flag is inside this old courtyard, and if the enemy is pushing from the Apple side of the map, this is a great place to make a stand and blunt their offensive. Watch out for sniper fire from Apples, but if you keep your wits about you and hug the cover around the building, you can take down unwary infantry with ease. When attempting to capture Butter, my preferred route is to flank around the cliffside, scope out the area for enemies, then charge in before reinforcements can arrive. There will often be armoured cars for the taking of Butter, so if there are, make sure you and your squad take one and get on your way pronto to the next flag. Edward flag is the runt of the litter, being a long way into the desert. But mark my words, ignore this flag at your peril, as it is the fulcrum around which the fate of many a match swings. Don't even think about pushing towards Edward unless you're in an aeroplane, on horseback or in a vehicle, and when you get there, be on the lookout for enemies hiding in the building, or at the back of the flag where the gun is, or in the outbuildings to one side. Once you've captured Edward and you're starting to move away to other parts of the battlefield, watch for the flag being immediately recaptured by the enemy. This probably means one of them was hiding in there all the time, just waiting for you to leave rather than engaging in horrible combat. So make sure you turn around, flush him out, and keep the Edward flag yours. Apples consist of a lump of rock split right down the middle, perfect for infantry to capture and stay out of the way of armour if you're clever enough. But bear in mind that you will be very exposed if you're on foot and want to push towards the butter flag or towards stuff. Often ignored, Apple can again be an excellent staging area to blunt enemy offences from this side of the map. If you're on horseback or in an armoured car, you can flank round from George in a couple of minutes and take the enemy completely unawares. That, my lady Tommy Atkins, brings this combat tactics guide to a close. So get your kit together, fall into line, the best of its luck, and I'll see you on the battlefield.